At the Bethesda E3 showcase, BGS spent a decent amount of time talking about the future of Fallout 76 while also acknowledging its failures.
Take Fallout 76, a type of game we'd never done before, had a lot of difficulties at launch, and we got a lot of well-deserved criticism.
The game is planning to roll out an NPC update this fall called Wastelanders, which is a complete 180, but one that should win over fans if it goes well. To cap it off, they debuted a trailer to announce their Battle Royale mode called Nuclear Winter. And you guessed it, it's a PvP mode that puts 52 players in a map that continually shrinks until the last team is standing. After sinking several hours into the mode on PC and Xbox One, I can safely say it's a decently competent Battle Royale mode, and it's surprisingly fun. It makes me wonder, could Nuclear Winter be the saving grace that Fallout 76 really needs? Let's do a quick rundown of the mode. Nuclear Winter is completely separate from adventure and survival, so anything that goes on in this mode has no bearing on your experience in other parts of the game. You can play solo with a team, or you can use matchmaking to squad up with a group of up to 4 players. Once you find a match, you're plopped into Vault 51. Now here's the interesting part. This is a legitimate vault in the Fallout universe. You can't visit it in other modes, but it has a backstory and lore that you'll unlock piece by playing Nuclear Winter. However, that information is locked behind a new progression system called Overseer rank. Each match of Nuclear Winter rewards you with Overseer XP. Each level of Overseer rank gives you rewards, but you must pass certain thresholds in order to unlock more of the areas in Vault 51. It's a very unique way of delivering narrative, and I'm excited to see whether or not people think this is going to be worth it in order to learn more about the story. Once your match fills up and the teams have been set, this map pulls up on your screen, which allows you and your squad to choose where you want to spawn at the start of the match. So the first part lets you see where your teammates want to spawn, which is a way of non-verbal communication. If you don't have a microphone and you're not in the same party, you can communicate, hey, let's spawn here. This is where I want to go. You have about 15 seconds to decide, and then once that is locked in, you can't move it. The second phase actually shows you where everyone else on the map is deciding to spawn in. It's an interesting concept, and at first seems weird, but it makes sense considering you don't drop into these games. There's no goofy battle pass or Fallout themed skydiving. You just spawn and magically appear at that point. Without seeing other players' spawn points, you'd have no idea whether you're safe and you have time to loot, or you really need to hurry and find something to defend yourself immediately. It's a solid alternative that I've found works fairly well. Since Nuclear Winter is a PvP mode, everything is balanced separately. Perk cards are redesigned for Battle Royale, and all of the items are tuned to a predetermined power curve that you'll learn as you play more of this mode. For example, finding a pipe pistol and wood armor is just not a great start. But if you manage to find a 50 cal machine gun and marine armor, then you're in business. There are also skill-based weapons like the crossbow, for example, that really rewards player skill because it's hard to aim that thing. Overall, I was really impressed with the power curve. It makes a lot of sense in Battle Royale games, and especially so in a Fallout game. Finding this loot is slightly different than in other Fallout 76 modes. While you can search through luggage and other random containers, there are set specific supply crates that you'll only find in Nuclear Winter. These are tiered too, so you'll immediately be able to recognize, hey, I found a good stash, or hey, I found a really great one. As far as I can tell, these are random. There may be several spawn points for them where you can kind of expect to see one, but you're not gonna find the exact same box in the exact same location every single match. And just like other BR games, you'll figure this out as you play more and start to find the best places to begin each match. And of course, Nuclear Winter has an overarching metagame with nukes. On the UI, you'll find slots for nuke codes and a briefcase, and those codes are found in orange supply crates that beep very similarly to the way that scorched officers beep in the adventure mode. If anyone loots 4 codes and finds a briefcase, then you can launch a nuke. I haven't been able to pull this off myself so far, but I've seen several nukes in the games I've played in, and the process seems very similar to how how it works in adventure mode. You choose a location, there's like a 20-second countdown timer, and then everyone who is caught in the blast zone dies, just like in adventure mode, and you're able to see the radius of the blast zone, so you have a reasonable amount of time to get away unless you're caught like right in the middle. As far as I can tell, this isn't the best way to win a match. You can drop a nuke and still lose, but it's a good way to get a ton of kills and maybe get rid of a large amount of people in a small space very quickly. And from what I can tell, you pretty much need a full team with mics in order to pull this off. Nuclear Winter also feels uniquely Fallout by keeping safes and terminals in the mode. These are scattered around the map, and most of the time they offer better rewards than what you're gonna find in a supply crate. If you manage to hack a terminal, you have 3 options. You can choose to reveal enemies on the map for about a minute, which is very useful. You can request a stim pack, or you can request a weapon. If you have time to pick a safe, I believe there's just a higher chance of getting better loot so you can upgrade your weapons or armor. In my experience, these are super valuable and can really change the tide of a match by giving you a solid upgrade. Keep in mind that these abilities are tied to the perk cards you're given in the starter pack. As you level your Overseer rank, you'll get more perk cards through packs. So in the future, you can decide to forego hacking and lockpicking entirely if you decide that other cards are more valuable to you. Speaking of perk cards, there are 73 total cards in this mode. You can still pull duplicates, which gives you Overseer XP, but there's a lot to mix and match and customize your loadout. Adding another layer to Nuclear Winter is the ability to build. You can drop your camp and build structures, turrets, and other forms of defense. Instead of collecting resources like other modes, you are free to build to your heart's content as long as you drop your camp. There are also kits, which you're going to loot through different containers found in the world, and they come with pre-made builds. That way you're not trying to get the perfect build down. You've got quick walls, turrets, things like that don't require much thinking. You just plop them down and they're ready to go. I've found that a lot of people don't realize you can build in this mode, and those that do gain a great advantage over their opponents. Building is especially useful in the final few circles, and I've witnessed many people do things like gain the high ground, fortify it, and then use that in order to win their matches. Finally, there are bobbleheads and magazines to collect, and those provide passive boosts that last only until the end of the match that you're currently in. So that's Nuclear Winter. That's the Battle Royale mode pretty much in its entirety. And I've gotta say, I found it to be surprisingly fun. I can tell BGS put some real thought and effort into creating this mode. It takes the best parts of other BRs and manages to carve out its own identity by repurposing key elements of Fallout 76. Unfortunately, the only platform I can see myself playing this on long term is PC. The game still runs so poorly on my Xbox One X. It's so disappointing to me. The thing just chugs along. I'm pretty sure it's running at like 22 frames per second. And like I said, it's so difficult to play. I've also run into a few issues with an audio glitch with the 50 caliber weapons, as well as loading in after other people, which obviously puts you at an immediate disadvantage. But this seems to be free of game-breaking bugs, which is good. I've got to admit, I am genuinely impressed with Nuclear Winter. I feel the same rush that I do playing something like Apex Legends when I find some really good loot. But again, it's unique because it's Fallout. Finding a suit of power armor, for example, is just a shot of adrenaline because you know you're gonna have that immediate advantage over your enemies. Also, being able to pop a stealth boy and flank your enemies to get a 1v4 team kill is just exhilarating. And of course, when I'm able to drop a nuke myself, I'm sure that'll be an amazing feeling too. Before we move on, I want to give a fair and honest warning. If you're looking for this to replace another game as your battle royale that you main and play all the time, I think you're gonna have a bad time. Coming from something like Apex Legends, the clunky controls and movement are a serious detriment. You're not able to move quickly, you can't react to enemy fire, and doing simple things like accessing your Pip-Boy or loot menus takes far too long in a fast-paced PvP mode. Bethesda says they've improved things like the time it takes to aim down sight after being in a menu, but it's neither quick nor smooth enough for a BR. I just don't feel that Nuclear Winter will be satisfying enough to people who play Battle Royale games. The ideas are there, and I think they have a good thing going here, but the execution is just not good enough. Even still, I see Nuclear Winter as the first real win for Fallout 76. The reason for players who abandon the game sometime after launch to go ahead and reinstall and come back. In my eyes, Nuclear Winter is a mode that has the power to 1, keep existing players around, and/or 2, get people who abandoned the game to come back. But I'm really not sure about its ability to attract new players. This is more of a time will tell thing, but for now, there is no reality in which Nuclear Winter just busts out into the community as the best new Battle Royale game that everyone's going to switch to. Don't get me wrong, I find it genuinely fun, and I'm going to keep playing on PC until the pre-beta is over, but I think we need to be realistic. Fallout 76 is still a game that was released in an unacceptable state. It's still the game that was a major letdown for most fans of the series. It's still the game that was canned by critics and was legitimately popular to make fun of for a long time. It's still the game that Todd Howard admitted himself that he knew would get bad reviews.
This isn't a game, even from the beginning, this is not going to be like, you know, high Metacritic game. That's not what this is.
I am all for games improving, and I think Nuclear Winter is a great addition to this game. But I will never look at Bethesda Game Studios the same again after the launch of Fallout 76 and after Todd Howard's recent interview. Another huge barrier that limits the success of Nuclear Winter is that it's tied to Fallout 76. After this free trial period, players are gonna have to buy the full game in order to continue playing it, whether they want to play the other modes or not. So to me, this is never going to take off in a big way like Apex and Fortnite have until it is free to play. Plain and simple. Keep in mind, I'm not saying Bethesda doesn't know this. In fact, their decisions up to this point point to the fact that they are fully aware. BGS knows this isn't some lightning in a bottle mode that is going to rival the big guys. If they did, they would have released this as a free-to-play, again, standalone, away from Fallout 76, and made it as a live mode instead of a limited time event. Instead, Bethesda sees Nuclear Winter as something that will keep existing players around and give a reason to those who jumped ship to consider reinstalling the game. Another slice of Fallout 76 for their player base to enjoy. And I think that's exactly the right move, and one of the few things that Bethesda has gotten right since the launch of this game. Now, to answer the question, can Nuclear Winter save Fallout 76? I think it has real potential to reinvigorate the player base. It's another option on the menu that's actually competent, fun, well-designed, and runs well, at least on PC. I think it can also work to bridge the gap between now and the Wastelanders update. That update will be a true indicator to me of whether Fallout 76 can recover. For now, I think BGS deserves some credit for not abandoning their game and adding some legitimate value to those who have already bought it. For some, this will not be enough to bring them back. For many, this will not be enough to warrant a new purchase of Fallout 76. But I think this has a good chance of becoming a sneaky success for the loyal player base of Fallout 76. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any thoughts on Nuclear Winter, whether you've played it or not, please share them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and share this with your friends who might be interested as well. Also, I've got more new videos like this coming soon, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.